Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into a project called KASPAMINE. Now, their big promise is that they can make crypto mining easy for absolutely everyone. No need for any of that expensive, complicated hardware. But is this really a game changer for getting into crypto? Or is there something else going on here? We're going to break down their tech, their business model, and the all-important fine print, all based on their own materials.
So right out of the gate, they make this massive claim. They say the foundation of their entire project, Kaspa, is the fastest open source, decentralized, and fully scalable Layer 1 in the world. I mean, wow. And the crypto world, those are fighting words. Let's see if the tech they're talking about can actually back up that kind of hype.
So to really get what KASPAMINE is offering, first you've got to understand the technology it's all built on. We need to talk about Kaspa itself.
Okay, so here's the secret sauce they're talking about. You know how Bitcoin's blockchain is kind of like a single-lane road? One block has to follow the next, one at a time. Well, Kaspa says they use something called a block DAG, which is way more like a multi-lane superhighway. It lets multiple blocks get processed all at once, in parallel. The whole point is to make transactions way, way faster and give you that instant confirmation.
Now, the project itself has been around for a little bit, starting back in 2021. But what's really important here is that it has a finish line. The very last Kaspa coin is expected to be mined around 2037. That creates a limited supply, right? Which is a huge deal in crypto. KASPAMINE is basically jumping into this timeline with what they're calling a new and better way to get involved. And this slide really puts things into perspective. Check out the difference in supply. We're talking almost 29 times billion Kaspa coins compared to Bitcoin's 21 million. That's not just a bigger number. It's a completely different economic philosophy. It means one Kaspa coin is never going to be worth as much as one Bitcoin. The game here seems to be about volume and speed, not high individual value.
And that brings us to the core of KASPAMINE's whole pitch. It's all about making a huge shift away from the old, hard, and expensive way of doing crypto mining. So this is the problem they claim they're here to solve. The traditional way of mining, proof of work, that's what Bitcoin uses, is an absolute beast. We're talking about buying super powerful, really expensive computers, paying insane electricity bills, and trying to keep all that hardware from overheating. For the average person, yeah, no way. It's just not going to happen.
And here is their solution, laid out nice and clear. They want to move from proof of work to proof of stake. Just look at this chart. The investment goes from crazy expensive hardware to just owning some tokens. Power consumption goes from high to next to nothing. Needing a physical setup? Nope, gone. The promise here is to go from a system that's locked down for experts to one that's open to pretty much anyone with a crypto wallet.
So, how does KASPAMINE actually do all this? How do they package this proof-of-stake idea into something you can actually use? Let's take a look.
Well, according to their documents, KASPAMINE isn't just an app or a website. It's a specific group that says they're operating out of a physical mining facility in Russia. They're positioning themselves as a service, really, a go-between that handles all the complicated tech stuff so you don't have to. You're basically putting your trust in them to manage the whole process. To actually get involved, you're going to need your own crypto wallet. They list a bunch of the usual suspects here, like MetaMask and Trust Wallet, so you'd be interacting with their system through one of these pretty standard tools.
And hey, like a lot of new platforms, they've got a hook to get people in the door early. The source mentions a $100 bonus for the first 1,000 people who sign up. But, and this is the catch, right? It's got a 15-day timer on it. You have to activate your account, which definitely creates a sense of urgency to get started.
Okay, let's get to the part I'm sure you've been waiting for. The money. How does this system actually claim you can make an income? They break it down into a few different ways.
So they present the sign-up process as this super simple three-step thing. You connect your wallet, you whitelist your Kaspa address so you can actually get paid, and then you pick an investment package. And these range from as low as $1 all the way up to $1,000.
Once you're in, they lay out 4 main ways to earn. It looks like a mix of returns on your own investment and, this is a big one, rewards that are based on building a network of other users. Let's break down how each of these is supposed to work.
First up, you've got direct income. This one's pretty straightforward. You recommend someone to the platform, they buy a package, and boom, you get a commission. It's a direct reward for bringing more people in.
Okay, the second stream is the binary bonus, and this is where things start to get a bit more complex. This kind of model is pretty common in network marketing. You have to build 2 teams of people under you, a left leg and a right leg.
You earn a 10% bonus based on the sales of whichever leg is weaker. So, what does it do? It gives you a huge incentive to constantly recruit and try to keep both sides of your network balanced.
And on top of that binary bonus, there's also a rank system. This is tied directly to how well your two teams are doing. For example, once your left and right teams each generate $500 in business, you hit the first rank and you get a $50 bonus. The whole system is clearly designed to reward you for growing your network, with bigger payouts the higher up you climb.
Now let's pause for a second because we're about to get to what might be the most critical section of this entire explainer. We're talking about the rules of the game. You absolutely have to understand the terms and conditions here.
And here they are, the rules that control your money. First, and this one is absolutely crucial, your total earnings are capped at 300% of whatever you invested. Once you've tripled your money, you have to reinvest and buy another package to keep earning. On top of that, every single withdrawal has a 10% fee. Oh, and you need at least $10 to cash out. These rules create a system where money is constantly being pushed back into the platform.
So when you look at KASPAMINE on the surface, the pitch is pretty compelling, right? It seems to offer this really simple way to get into crypto rewards without all the headaches of traditional mining. But the business model, with the binary bonuses, the mandatory reinvestments, the withdrawal fees, it all brings up a really critical question. Is this a sustainable new way to open up crypto to everyone? Or is it a high-risk system that absolutely depends on a constant flow of new people and their money to keep going? As always, the devil is definitely in the details.